We have seen the Americas.
Bibisara is the champion.
Watch the Asia and Oceania.
Gunay wins the tournament.
Now it's our turn.
8 of the world's best players.
That is a thing of beauty.
Playing against each other.
Watching the heart rate.
And the clock.
She's lost on time.
For a place in the grand final.
So much drama.
In the sport, most dramatic format.
Next move, checkmate.
This is Armageddon.
Halfway through, the regional events and the Armageddon Championship Series has already seen 4 players book their place at September's grand finale. Grandmasters Wesley So and Sam Shankland made it through from the Americas tournament, while teenage sensations Gukesh D and Nordebek Abdusattarov qualified from Asia and Oceania. Now it's the turn of the women to decide the next 2 contenders who will join them there. 8 of the world's best players about to take on each other and the clock at the World Chess Club Berlin. A lineup that includes the likes of Bibisara Assaubayeva, Gunay Mammadzada and Humpy Koneru.
What makes the Armageddon series so special?
Playing 2 games and then the Armageddon is so stressful and so exciting at the same time.
It's everything that I like about chess in less than 30 minutes format.
Here, every player is one of the best in the world.
The pieces are gonna fly.
What makes a great blitz chess player?
You need to be quick, you need to be sharp, and you need to have eyes, nerves.
I think that first you should ask the world champion in blitz.
It's very important to take a decision quickly.
What is gonna happen?
How can you describe your style?
I'm more of a positional player, but I do take risks when the situation demands.
I like to play initiative and, of course, attack.
You can feel the pressure here.
How do you win this championship?
That's a tough question.
If I will believe myself that I can do it, I will do it.
There is no place for mistakes. It's gonna be hard.
I take step by step.
It is over.
What would victory mean for you?
That actually age is just a number because I'm one of the oldest participants.
Victory always motivates you to improve further.
As usual, the 3rd regional event was using the double elimination format, with match winners progressing to the next round, while losers went into the lower bracket to play again for a chance to stay in the tournament. Day 1 of Women's Week saw victories for Azerbaijan's Gunay Mammadzada and Poland's Alina Kashlinskaya. The following day saw the match between Nana Dzagnidze and 2-time Blitz world champion Bibisara Assaubayeva.
I played chess last 15 years. I start when I was 4 years old. My grandpa teach me. Then I go to the chess club, try to improve myself, and now I'm here. When I was 4 years old, I go to my parents to say goodnight. They watched some news and I saw Alexandra Kosteniuk won her title, world champion, and they want to be like her, to be the world champion. And my parents said me, okay, but you need to learn how to play chess and you need to work hard every day.
The pair's first game looked pretty evenly matched, until Dzagnidze forgot about the fundamental rule of blitz chess and ran out of time to hand her 19-year-old opponent a surprise win. We join the match in the second game, Assaubayeva playing black and Simon Williams and Jovanka Huska watching the action.
Nana making that move with 2 seconds on the clock, and still her heart rate is under 100.
I can't believe it. You've got to play quicker as White here. White is winning this one, but it's so short on time, and that H-pawn is looking dangerous. The black pawn is getting nearer
2 seconds for Bibisara. Whoa, the players are living on the edge. Okay.
Oh, a nice tactic there. Using the pin on the rook and, just keep an eye on the clock. The clock is so important here.
And I mean, I have to say, just take a look at Bibisara's pawns there on the right side. I mean, that's an overwhelming amount of pawns. And it's just about being able to keep calm. Okay, it's a race. We are ready.
Yeah, it's a race.
1 second.
Oh,
She's lost on time again.
Oh, my words.
day 3 saw the first round losers back in action, with their final chance to stay in the tournament. Elisabeth Paehtz and Alexandra Kosteniuk making the most of their second lifelines to make sure they'd live to play another day. That left the 4 unbeaten players facing each other on day 4, with 22-year-old Gunay Mammadzada and Alina Kashlinskaya, 7 years her senior, first at the board. The younger player won the first game when her opponent conceded. The second game was a much closer affair, with Gunay playing black.
White is threatening checkmate. Can black get there first? The rook comes in. This is still very unclear now, because black's king is in some danger
the queen
here.
will come off. Queen goes to d2, and that's it. Handshake. It is over.
A comprehensive victory for the 22-year-old, setting the scene for the next match between the tournament's youngest player, Bibisara Assaubayeva, and India's Humpy Koneru.
I have been playing chess from the past 30 years. I started when I was 6 years old. Initially, I got attracted to the game when I saw my father playing chess from an informator. I sat before him and I started asking about the pieces, how they move and all. Initially, I won on the local tournament, and from then onwards, I kept on playing state and national level events. I took a break in my career after my daughter was born. I haven't seen chess for nearly 1 year, 10 months. And after coming back from 2019 onwards, I started winning very good tournaments. So getting a good results and in these shorter formats gave me more happiness.
The match turned out to be one of the most compelling of the tournament. Assaubayeva won the first game when Koneru ran out of time, but the Indian bounced back in the second game.
Are we going to get an Armageddon?
It is looking that way, as long as Humpy can control her nerves and keep ahead on the clock. Now queen check on e3, the king has to move, has to run out, and now it's just about consolidating.
Rook coming in, that is the killer
coming in
move.
now, and we are going to see Armageddon as Bibisara resigns.
What a game there.
Tied at 1 game all, it would all come down to a deciding Armageddon. Koneru playing black and Bibisara white with the time advantage, but needing to win. Once again, Simon Williams and Jovanka Huska were keeping an eye on the action.
Humpy is playing really well. She's defended brilliantly. The heart rates are up. They're both just getting shorter and shorter. Can Humpy keep control here? Just keep an eye on the moves. They're coming so quickly.
Yep, both players around the 20-second mark, and Humpy lining up a checkmating threat. She is really going for it. And Humpy actually now in the lead when it comes to the clock.
Why? You can't think. She hesitated there. That was a key 1 second on the clock that she lost. They're both down to 10 seconds, but Humpy is moving slower. It doesn't matter about the position. It matters about the clock. 7 seconds, 6 seconds. Humpy, you've got to move. Anything possible, just keep an eye on that time.
Humpy only 3 seconds, 2 seconds. She's not going to do it.
1 second left.
Oh,
she's lost on time in a winning position.
Despite the defeat, Koneru won her next 2 matches in the lower bracket to make it through to the final day of competition. She'd be joined there by the 2 players who were still unbeaten in Berlin, 19-year-old Bibisara Assaubayeva and 22-year-old Gunay Mammadzada.
I'm playing chess since I'm 5 years old, so right now I'm 22, so it makes 17 years I'm already playing professionally. My grandmother and grandfather, they have been playing chess constantly, so seeing them playing chess, I was like curious, like what is it? And my parents saw that interest in me, and they decided that I should learn chess too, so I found it very hard. And I was crying like, it is hard, I can't. And then I gradually started understanding and I tried to play better. In general, when I win the tournament, I feel very good and it's really memorable for me.
The match between Bibisara and Gunay would determine who'd progress straight to the final. and who would have to play off against Humpy Koneru in the lower bracket. Bibisara won the first game, but Gunay, playing black, bounced back in game 2.
7 seconds. Black could take this to Armageddon. She's given up that pawn. She is counter-attacking, and now, it's both kings look so exposed in this position here.
But the black queen is going to come in and give some checks.
Maybe move the rook in first. If I was black, I'd get my last piece into the attack, but gone for your idea, bringing the queen in, and now grabbing a pawn there. Both kings so exposed. White grabbing a pawn in return.
And, Gunay has to be very, very careful here. She has to give a check. And how is Bibisara going to handle that? She steps back with her king, but remember, Gunay is in a must-win situation.
That's right, and the problem here is that, look at the time, 3 seconds to go, 2 seconds, 1. And whose king is safer here? I really don't know. Bibisara nearly losing on time. Black pushing in the middle. Gunay is doing a brilliant job of complicating this position as much as possible. And can she keep causing problems to the white king? I think that was a bit of a mistake from Gunay. And no. She can't be going for a draw. You can't get a draw. A draw means you lose.
And
why are you going for the draw?
It's the panic that's settling in, because the queen and the rook were hovering around the black king, and it is a draw. Bibisara qualifies to the final and secures her spot for the September grand finale.
We'll be back after the break to find out who'll join her there, with all the action from the final day of Women's Week in Berlin. Welcome back to the World Chess Club Berlin for the climax of Women's Week, the third qualifying round in this year's Armageddon Championship Series. 8 of the game's top players have slowly been whittled down to 3 stars, each still with a chance of winning the tournament and progressing to September's grand finale. Reigning back-to-back World Blitz champion Bibisara Assaubayeva has been the standout player of the week. In the first round, she eased past Nana Dzagnidze after the Georgian legend ran out of time in both games of their match. Bibisara was taken to Armageddon in the next round by Humpy Koneru, but once again her opponent ran out of time. Finally, she eased past the tournament's only other unbeaten player, Gunay Mammadzada, to book her place in the final. After losing in brutal fashion to Bibisara on day 4, India's Humpy Koneru beat Elisabeth Paehtz and then Alina Kashlinskaya in an Armageddon game to reach the final day. There she'll be facing Gunay Mammadzada, who also defeated Elisabeth Paehtz and Alina Kashlinskaya before coming up short against the week's only other unbeaten player, Assaubayeva. So to match number 13 between Humpy and Gunay. The Indian won the first game before her opponent drew level by winning game 2. That meant an Armageddon decider would be needed to see who'd play Bibisara for tournament bragging honours. Simon Williams and Jovanka Huska were in the commentary box, with Humpy playing black.
Remember, Humpy does have draw odds.
This is a really bad position for White here. White is doing everything she can. She does have the time advantage.
Another pawn is dropping.
Oh, that's a great move from Humpy. I mean, the only chance I'd say for Gunay is to keep up the pace, keep the rooks on the board, and cross your fingers and hope Humpy makes a mistake. That's the only thing she can do. But Humpy is so good under pressure. She's so good in the ending, and she's now using her pawn on that side to try and become a queen. And that pawn, I think it's going to become a queen very shortly. It's 1 square away from queening. The rook comes behind. This king is now going to come up and support it. And I think we're going to get a finalist very, very shortly. The king attacking the rook. This is heartbreaking for Gunay, but Humpy has played a fantastic game here. Absolutely brilliant. She's combined good opening, good tactics, good vision, good time. She's done everything right in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Humpy really does level up when it comes to these time controls, and now she's just worked out that this king and pawn ending is hopeless for white, and that pawn is unstoppable. And we see the handshake, and it is Humpy that is the victor.
A result that saw Koneru earning a rematch against a player who'd beaten her on time in an Armageddon decider on day 4. Both players had already qualified for September's grand finale, but there was still the small matter of the Women's Week title to be decided. We join the action in the first game with Bibisara on the left, playing white.
Come on, Humpy, you got to move. She swaps off the bishop, still very calm, and white now brings that knight back. It's quite an even position, but look at the clock. Humpy, you've got 10 seconds. Move!
And Humpy does move. She steps forward with a rook. She's planning to double on the D line. And, well, I was going to ask whether Bibisara was going to do the same. But Bibisara says, no, I have a very straightforward plan. Push my pawns.
And Bibisara is playing, she's a very practical player. What I mean by that is she suddenly picks up the pace whilst black is short of time. She's playing very aggressively here. That pawn she moved is going to go for maybe a direct attack. Can she push that pawn again? I would certainly do that if I was white here. Go for the king. Push that pawn that's in front of the rook. She has done.
No hesitation. She is able to play such aggressive moves, and I love the way she's gotten that knight to a very tasty square.
A nice
and
tactical
nice
move.
tactic idea from Bibisara. Wow, what an impressive player. I mean, she's looking unstoppable here.
She's playing. Oh, there you go. A big
that's
move.
it.
Whoa. That is what we call a fork. There was no escape for Humpy there, and Bibisara won.
That left Humpy needing victory in Game 2 to stay in the match. Once again, Simon Williams and Ivanka Huska are watching the moves from the commentary box.
Oh, I don't know. I like this move from Humpy. She's exchanged off that really strong bishop. That is supposed to... Okay, she has got a good square for a knight. It might not be the end of the world, but double-edged positional choice there.
Certainly double-edged. And I have to say, I do feel that Bibisara has survived the worst of it. It's just now about consolidating the king and restraining white's potential pawn advances in the center. If she can do that, she will stand in good stead. And Humpy, once again, needs to come up with an active plan. But for now, Bibisara is on the defensive.
The problem with black's position is black's pieces. Black does have this good bishop. I'm actually starting to like Humpy's decision there. Very clever in some ways. Look, white's pieces are better than black's pieces.
Right.
Look at all the black's pieces. They're all next to each other. They're like, you know, you've got the bishop, queen, knight, rook, king. They're all just, they're doing nothing there. You've got to use those pieces, otherwise you'll get ground down. And here we see Bibisara trying to at least get rid of one of her bad pieces.
Yeah.
I'd rather be white here, though, I think.
I would rather be white as well. I mean, I have seen black, once these bishops get traded off, I have seen black actually come out with the queen all the way to the h4 square.
Black moving quickly, keeping a time advantage on Humpy. Let's remember, white has to win this game to take it to the next stage of, you know, keeping the competition, I should say. White moving her queen up, connecting the rooks, and now black is starting to get those pieces into the game. But white just playing very good moves, coordinating well at the same time. Maybe the black knight should now come to the side. Okay, nope, a rook comes to the center. Humpy, 17 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Bibisara's knight maneuver. I feel that the knight should have gone to the c7 square where it can start restraining white's pawns. And while Humpy, less than 15 seconds on the clock, and she still has a way to, she still has to find a way in order to generate some activity.
Playing very good chess though, and black is just a little bit more cramped in this position. Humpy just securing her structure as much as she can. She's gone into turbo mood and she's really playing well in this game. Bibisara, that last move, it's a very passive move. It kind of shows that black doesn't have a plan. I think there's a good chance that white could come back in this game.
And well, black actually coming up with a threat of putting the knight on the b6 square and offering a trade. And Bibisara now 20 seconds left on the clock. She has to trade pieces, and instead she steps forward with the queen. Again, she's asking Humpy to take an active choice.
Yeah, and you can see all that Bibisara is doing now is going backwards and forwards. She's basically saying to Humpy, you have to try and break through. I can draw. What are you going to do? And what Humpy's going to try to do is push that pawn in front of her rooks. She's moved both of her rooks like a shotgun behind that pawn, and at some point that will be the breakthrough. But the clock time's 3 seconds.
And now we see a trade of knights, but still, can Bibisara handle white's threat of actually pushing the pawn forward? And here it comes. It is chaos on the board. And if Bibisara can't survive this, that's it. She will be lost.
Brilliant play from Humpy. Humpy is dominating the game. And a piece gets knocked over there. What happened? Are they stopping the clock? Whoa, that was strange. You've got to be very careful knocking your opponent's pieces over. That might have put Humpy off a little bit, and she now knocks another piece over, but the knight comes in. It's still very good for Humpy. Keep an eye on the clock.
Oh, and this one is a killer because the bishop is now falling off the board.
Moving the knight back. I don't think she saw that one. I think she was a little bit still in shock there. She could have won the bishop, but it is really just on the clock. Bibisara is keeping things just about under control. She comes in with a check. Bibisara defending well. She's won a knight there from nowhere. The white knight has just dropped off. Humpy is a piece down. She goes for a pawn on the side, attacking black's bishop, but this is falling apart for Humpy at the moment.
Yeah, and another pawn will fall off the board, and Humpy just pushing the d pawn forward, but it can be corralled. And a piece is a piece, although Humpy is trying. Okay, Bibisara now giving a check. Can Bibisara force the repetition and walk away with the €18,000 first prize? And the answer is yes.
Wow, wow, wow. The game ends in a draw because they repeat the position 3 times. There was no way the white king could have escaped that one.
Bibisara Assaubayeva is the winner of Women's Week.
A comprehensive victory for the 19-year-old Kazakhstani, who really has been the form player of Women's Week. Consolation for Koneru, though, as she'll be joining her opponents at September's grand finale back at the World Chess Club Berlin. Next time, we'll find out the final 2 players who'll be joining them there as Europe and Africa take centre stage in June. See you then.